Welcome to A Fab Journey. Hi, I'm Paul, the guy on A Fab Journey. And yes, today was this week, sorry, was a journey because we went, as in the title, A Tale of Two Cities. We went and played in two armories in two separate cities. Let's just hope that no one mistakes this for work of Shakespeare and I get done for copyright breach, but I'm sure that people won't mistake it for something like that. Yeah, but we went over to Hamilton and also down to Tauranga. So first up, we went to the card merchant in Hamilton for their one on Tuesday night. We've been to there before for skirmish and also a store championship qualifier, but this will be the first time we actually went to an armory there. And then obviously we're getting down to Gateway Games, our regular haunt, as well on the Friday. This week also saw the release of Armory deck Rhinar, so you'll be able to. I'll talk about myself playing that deck as well because I purchased that on the opening day. So yes, that has already had a run out at an armory. But let's get into the actual weekly update, starting off with the news. Obviously, the big news this week was the LSS announcing that the showdown is, or what a showdown is, and that basically it's replacing Battle Hardens on the World Tour. But only for those weekends where there is a calling. So showdowns will always be on a Sunday after a calling. The Battle Hardens that were standalone events, well, those will exist no more. So we will be getting more callings this coming year, but there will basically be less stops on the World Tour this year because of the removal of Battle Hardened from that. Or well, next year actually, because it's 2026, aren't we? Let's be honest. So. And we also had the LSS keynote at Philadelphia Worlds. Actually, just to rewind, obviously, I thought that showdowns were going to be the rollout of store championships globally, but that wasn't to be. You can check out my how well did my predictions stand up, or I'll talk a bit more about how my predictions stood up against the LSS keynote that came out. So yes, you can get most of it from there. Look, they did give us more details about the next release, which is a premium supplementary booster set for the constructed side of the game. So no limited as part of that, but support for classic constructed and also for Silver Age. We knew there was going to be support for Silver Age, but on that one, so not the light and shadow that I was expecting on that one. And they gave us a roadmap for 2026. As well, and a new hero, but an old mentor. So yes, Hala has been upgraded from mentor to a hero now, or not now, or next year in April, I think it is. It comes out, so will be coming out as an armory deck. So they also announced that as well. So yeah, quite a lot of stuff going on because of Worlds and all of that sort of things. But I say I covered more of that on my previous video, so no need to go into much more detail on that kind of stuff. Emptying the wallet. Yes, the next section. What have I spent this week? Well, yes, as I've said, I got the Armory deck Rhinar that was released. So that's $59.90 on that one straight away. Look, it's not a hero that I'm planning to actually play or to even upgrade the deck. Look, I enjoy playing Pallades, and that's where I'm planning on sticking for now. But I've got this for basically my series of the Armory Deck League series of posts. So that's why I've bought it for that, not so much for actually playing. I also picked up a Dragon Shield Strongbox to keep the deck in as well. They're only they're $9.80. Look, they've got lots more room than is needed for a 60 card deck. So maybe it's not the most efficient way of storing these, but we got given two anyway. So I've might as well just continue using the same type of box on that one. We headed over to Card Merchant Hamilton, and that was $15 each for their armory over there, where you get the choice of two packs from a range of releases. Look, I chose Everfest and Bright Lights, hoping to get a spring tunic there with the Bright Lights, and obviously didn't. As you'll see later in the cards, I took a couple of hunted packs there. Gateway Games, $6 each for us in that one, where we get one pack of the latest release of Super Slam. So $42 in entry fees this week. Wow, it adds up, doesn't it? And a total spend of $111.70. So yeah, not a cheap game, but also look, I don't think it's that crazy expensive that a lot of people are talking about, but I think that's probably a topic for another video, as to talking about why people who complain about the game saying you need $1,000 decks to be competitive. It really depends what you mean by competitive, doesn't it? But anyway, let's talk about that another time, shall we? Rather than going off on a massive tangent down there. So let's get into the actual armories then. First off was Card Merchant Hamilton, as I've said there, which was on a Tuesday evening. It's about an hour and 20 minutes drive from where we normally from home, compared to a normal 55-minute drive. So yeah, look, this is much more of a treat armory than one that we'll be doing on a regular basis, to be honest with you, because of all that travel time. Look, I played Pallades for this one. Using my main deck. First of all, I played Nick, who was playing Prism, and I had to rack my memory banks for what you're supposed to do here. Yes, you're supposed to pop the attacks, which means basically block with a attack of more than 6, in which case that stops the attack, and also kill those angels. I did manage to do. I did take sort of 6 damage early on, but I returned with 10. Now with Prism starting with less life, that meant yes, I was 34, 15 up early on, which was good. A couple of rounds where neither of us did anything, so yeah, we both ended up with hands that just didn't work and allow us to do much. And unfortunately, his wards and shields were able to absorb an awful lot of damage that I was sending his way. So like 18 damage attacks would be sent in, and these shields and wards would be soaking them up. I did manage to hit with 2 pummels that cleaned out all of those things, but then he just sort of got more of them. At the end, I should have overblocked, but an attack reaction got him the win, but he only had 1 life left, so it was a close one there. What I didn't realize was I could actually have attacked some of his auras, which were producing those shields, to get rid of them, and that's probably what I should have done, to be honest with you. Would I have got the win? I don't know, but either way, it was pretty close with that one. Next up was Etty, who was trying out a new Auxilio deck. This one was another really close game. Arcanes and Instants were really hurting me, but I was doing a whole bunch of damage back. At the end of it, look, this came down to one play where I played a what happens next to make playing my pummel was going to be free. I could have pitched it instead to play for the pummel, but I didn't. Etty had a way of countering my aura, so my aura wasn't played, and then I couldn't afford to play the pummel. And with life at 1-1, that would have won me the game. In the end, they managed to get their life back up to 7, so it did end in, we ran out of time, and this one ended in a draw at 1-7, but I could have won that one. So 2 close games. I definitely could have had 1 win and a draw there. Or actually, 1 win and a loss at that point. My last matchup was the worst matchup that I can get, which was into Ira. I think so. I don't think I've never beaten Ira. Bradley was a new player, and he was playing the straight out of the box Armory deck Ira with no modifications against my modified Pallades deck, and I still lost this one. Should I have blocked more? Probably, and played a more sensible waiting game, but that's not really my kind of style, is it? I like to go big and hit. And I've never beaten Ira with Pallades. So Bradley was really happy. That was his first ever Armory win. I've only been coming for 2 or 3 weeks, so that was nice to see someone enjoy themselves and getting that win. So no wins, 1 draw and 2 losses for me. Not a great return, but I'd say the 2 very close games and then my worst matchup in my mind. My daughter went lots better. She went 2-1 and came second on the night. She really enjoyed having the spring tunic. That really kind of helped her at this time. So good to see her doing well over there in Hamilton. Then obviously on Friday we headed down to Gateway Games. Look, I decided to play the Armory deck Rhinar straight out of the box, so I bought it there and played it. Now look, I've never played a brute before, so this was definitely a step into the unknown. Yes, I'd seen the LSS where they played Rhinar Armory deck into Ira Armory deck, so I'd had seen one game. I had a vague idea as to how his beat the chest mechanics work, but it was the first time I've never seen them used before, even though apparently they were around in heavy hitters. So it was all new to me. Let's be honest, my expectations for results were low into this one, because taking a totally untuned deck into an armory, and yeah, I'll be honest, I was not expecting to do that well. First up, I played Syndra, who was being played by Michael. Look, I was able to deliver a couple of big hits, like 14 and 12 points with him, and he wasn't blocking. So I quickly realised this was going to be a race. This was not going to be a tactical game. Look, I got it down to one each life, and then was flicked to death at the end. I just couldn't quite deliver enough to finish him off. So look, I thought for a deck that's straight out of the box, for someone who's never played a brute before, I think I did really well there against a like a tuned Syndra deck that someone has played a lot before. So yeah, I was actually happy with that result, even if it was a loss. Next, I played my daughter on Ira. I mean, I always lose against Ira. So whether I'm playing Ira or Pallades, would Reinhardt succumb to the same fate? Well, I'll tell you in a second. Look, I did get a life lead at 27-22, but I'd used up all my equipment to get there in that one. Ira played Blossom, and I got to draw 2 cards, but she then went and got 2 defense reactions. So yeah, she could have finished this one off. She evidently had some some poor hands in this one, but look, still, she had 4 life left as she beat me. So look, again, closer than I was expecting. Let's be honest. In that one. Finally, and as if you're watching the video, you can see in the photo there, I was up against Lyeth, being played by Royden. And look, leave them hanging is a horrible card, right? It comes in, it's an instant, so it's played during your turn. He intimidates a card out of your hand, so suddenly all those combos that you're ready to play don't work. And then also when it pops and leaves, it gives a +4, I think it is, to the next attack. So it's a crazy card. And he got 3 of them on 3 different hands. So for 3 rounds, I couldn't do what I was trying to do, because I kept losing one of the cards being intimidated. And then look, when I'm intimidating him, he's got a 5-card hand. So even if I do intimidate 3 cards, he's still got 2 left. So again, my intimidation wasn't as effective against him. This was a really frustrating matchup. I did go on to win it, with the life totals being 3-0 at the end. Look, once he ran out of leave them hanging cards, his disruption was much reduced, and I was actually able to do things and get some good combos going. So look, I went with 1 win and 2 losses. But all 3 games were close. So look, I would say this Reinhardt deck is a pretty solid place to build from. I was really impressed by how well I actually did with this deck. It's going to be interesting over the next couple of weeks to see how he stands up against Ira, against the Ira Armory deck, against Pallades Armory deck, and also I'm getting the KO one as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he stands up against those other Armory decks in a best of 3 competition. Moving then on to the cardboard that we picked up. Look, we got all those fun different new packs that we haven't sort of had before, with bright lights and the hunted and stuff. But in the end, we ended up with a bunch of, well, nothing in particular that we're actually probably going to use. I mean, look, there's a seismic stir in there, so maybe that'll go into if I play Valda Blitz for the next skirmish, maybe that'll go in there. But on the whole, nothing that great from those packs. So my daughter went pretty well in Hamilton, so we did get a few gem packs, and I got one as well. So 3 out of 3 gem packs again. Yeah, look, nothing particularly fantastic out of those 3 packs either. Unfortunately, Wind Up the Crowd is there. Look, Shining Courage, Rapturous Applause, but yeah, so nothing that. I mean, some nice extended art cards, but nothing actually that's big to trade. And then when it came to our 2 packs of Super Slam Gateway Games, again, nothing in there that I think we'll be able to trade or that we'll be right home about, to be honest. So yeah, a disappointing week for for cracking packs. But let's be honest, so that's going to happen. Always have a great week at the end of the day. Let's be honest. Now, on the meta matters side of things, obviously I've got 2 armories worth of meta to talk about this week. First up, from Card Merchant in Hamilton, we had 10 players there with 8 heroes. So Pallades, obviously with me, 3 Iras. 2 of them actually were armory decks straight out of the packet. We had an Acilio that was a new one that was being done. Prism, Jarl Bolton. Now I've got 2 there because what happened was that when he was playing the Ira armory decks, he would play Bolton because he didn't want to roll over them with Jarl. Teklavescent, who I've never actually seen played, and unfortunately I didn't get paired up with that one, so I still haven't seen that one being played. A Gravy and a Lyeth there. Look, this felt much more experimental. This felt much more casual play than I'm used to, slightly less competitive than I'm used to, which is fine. There's no problem there at all. But with 2 people on 2 new people playing, someone trying out a new deck, Lyeth also is one that's being tried out as well. It's not surprising I've got that kind of feel from the culture there of those decks. But yeah, I've still had a fun time playing over there. Gateway Games was even more diverse than that. 12 heroes across 12 decks. So Gravy, Ira, Florian, Lyeth, Arachne Slip Through the Cracks, Vincent, Victor Goldmain, Verdant, Syndra, Rhinar, Jarl, and Prism. Yeah, we've gained Rhinar, Prism, Jarl, and Syndra from last week, and lost Pallades, which I'll get back to be honest with you, Puffin, and KO Armed and Dangerous. Look, Puffin will definitely come back when as that's one of Lee's decks, and he was playing a different deck. He was playing Jarl this time. KO Armed and Dangerous, well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Because he is looking like he might LL pretty soon. So I'm not sure. So we may not see KO back there. But for all those people who are saying that the meta is boring and stale and all that kind of stuff, look, at Armory level, it's fantastic. Let's be honest. 12 decks with 12 heroes down in Gateway Games, 10 decks with 8 heroes up in Card Merchant Hamilton. You're getting different experiences, you're getting different games. It's not playing the same person every single time or the same hero every single time. So to me, in my mind, yeah, I take it with a pinch of salt when people talk about the fact that the meta's in a bad place. I think it's in a great place at the moment. And I think, yeah, look, Flesh and Blood is heading in the right direction at the moment. Is Silver Age the future? We'll have to wait and see. I've also made my point that I think Classic Constructed is still the future of Flesh and Blood. But who knows what the future will see. What's coming up then over the next week? Well, look, I'm hoping to get to Gaming DNA in Hamilton for their Armory on Thursday, where I'm due to pick up a Armory deck KO from somebody. So hopefully, again, this will be another Tale of Two Cities this coming week as well. Over the next few weeks, I say I should be posting a few write-ups and results from several of the matchups from the Armory Deck League, as I've now got 2, or I've got 1, I'm picking up another new Armory deck. So suddenly I've got like something like 5 games or 5 combos to play out there. So that should keep us busy for the next few weeks. On the news front, look, mainly it's going to be results from Worlds, isn't it? I think, or fallout from Worlds on that one. So most stuff that just basically doesn't impact your average player. However, LSS are good at dropping one piece of kind of significant news each week, or one significant announcement each week. So let's just wait and see what they might come out with. We're 5 weeks away from the next scheduled banned and restricted announcement, so I'm not expecting anything on that front. And I think it would be too soon for any announcements around Living Legend, because they said they need to do a full review, a proper review of how to actually take that format forward. But I do think it will be taken forward. I think it's going to be totally lost. Clearly, the focus next year is on the new format of Silver Age, as we've seen that all of the showdowns will be Silver Age, for example. But I still expect Living Legend to be resurrected, or to be reborn in the not too distant future. But I just see it as being an elite format for the really experienced players who have been playing the game for a long time, and not being a sort of mass format. And there's nothing wrong with that, having different formats for different things, in my opinion. Not every format has to be massively popular, folks. So there you go. So now now I get down off my soapbox and just say, please like, share, and subscribe, and all of that kind of stuff. Do please help the channel grow, because as you'll notice, I did not get sent a one of the Armory decks as part of the pre-release, as some of the creators did by LSS. I'm a long way from that point of view. Yes, they gave me a couple of posters, which was nice, but I'm a long way from being one of their kind of who to get some kind of spoilers or that kind of stuff for a release. Let's be let's be honest. Have a great week, folks. Enjoy playing in the Flesh and Blood, and have a great day.